don't fuck with Google like that.
Yeah, we coming in hot. Welcome for Valley Boys Podcast. We're coming into you live on a Wednesday. We got Mike, we got PT, Damon Randall will be with us in just a minute. We're gonna talk about some more college football, SEC and Big 12 predictions. Will a non-power five be able to break through in the CFP like Cincinnati did 2 years ago? And Mike Atwater's top 10 NFL list. This is on the show. We go and get the thing popping, and we say let's go.
Hey, yeah, hey, yeah, boys, yeah. Hold on, we them boys. Hold on, we them boys.
And of course, this is the Fort Valley Boys Podcast, and I am Fabian Bates. We have Terry Funk, and we have Pretty Tony. What they call him? Pretty Tony. Guys,
Pretty Tony, what they called him.
They call him. They call him. Oh, hold on. We got one more. We got one more special guest coming in. We got one more special guest back from hiatus. It's Major.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Major. What's going on?
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, Shot?
I cannot complain. Blessed and highly favored.
Hey, Horatio. I can call you by your nickname. Hey, Horatio.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, thanks.
What are you honoring Trayvon Martin or something?
Oh, no, I'm cold.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Iron deficiency. Over the iron
No
deficiency.
blood cells. You might be like, who that is? Mob Deep? You know what? Let me stop.
Don't do it like that.
Don't want to you got sickle cells?
I ain't want to say it.
I'm not doing it.
Hey, listen, I knew Tupac was gonna die as soon as he made that song about that boy. I knew it. I knew he was gone. You can't call nobody out and say they got sickle cell. And you want to kill the whole East Coast, not one rapper. Everyone on the East Coast.
All right, what we got? Tony, what's going on?
Man, what's happening, man?
I cannot complain.
Hey, Tony, how you doing, man? How you doing, Tony?
Man, another day in paradise, Mr. Atwater.
That's good. Thanks, sir.
Yeah,
How about you? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right.
Yeah,
You was on the field. You was on the field Friday, weren't you?
Man, it was so damn hot on that field Friday night. Good gracious of life, bro.
How much did you lose? How many pounds you lost?
Well, I know we ran 6.2 miles. That's all I know.
Half a pound. Okay.
That's all I know.
Right,
let me tell y'all something about refereeing. You can crack all the jokes you want about me being fat, but if you ain't in shape out there on that field or that basketball court, you will die. You will absolutely die out there. It is super hot. Kickoffs Friday night supposed to be like 97, 98 degrees.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be scorching this weekend.
All right, let me get to the sponsor right quick before we jump in. And of course, we're on Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Crazy Straws. If you're crazy, got a straw, get your crazy straw just for men. If you're not named Ryan Anderson with that immaculate gold tee you got, get some just for men. CB4, get Walgreens, CVS. Jackson Waving Room, you need some waves, get that from your local beauty supply store. Also brought to you by Arizona Tea, the 89 cents at Walmart. You'll go and get your diabetes for free. Drink the whole cake, you got diabetes for free. Follow us on Facebook and on YouTube, buynightshirt.com. All your HBCU and handling the not needs. Damon's podcast, episode 13, talking about his college football and NFL previews, and Henny and Coke and Crown Royal, XO, and Ginger Ale, the dark liquors. Guys, we got college football popping off in 10 days. The real season starts. Jackson State. Somebody else in the background. All right. So Mike's rundown is brought to you by Burger King. Have it your way. Big 12 and SEC previews we're doing today. I'm gonna say the SEC for last because that's pretty much the baby NFL. Big 12, they have some turnaround as far as adding some new teams within their conference. Oklahoma's struggling. TCU's lost half turnover, a good bit of their team after making it to the championship game, only get blowed out, and the brakes beat off them by UGA. Mike, what do you see in the future for Big 12, and who is your preseason pick for that conference?
I want y'all to go on record. I'm about to say this. Can't believe I'm about to say this, but I'm gonna say this. Week 2 of the college football season, Texas will beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. I'm going out on a limb. Texas will beat Alabama. I like Texas to win the Big 12. Texas, as far as talent, they're supposed to always have talent. That's first. But as far as talent for that conference, I like Texas. They returning Quinn Ewers at quarterback. They got Xavier Worthy at receiver. A.D. Mitchell from Georgia done transferred there. Most of the defense back. I like Texas in that conference. So I like Texas in an upset over Alabama in week 2 of the season.
As you see on the bottom, Mike's hot take brought to you by Hot Tamales. Bama gonna beat Bama and win Big 12. Shot. What do you see in the Big 12?
That's a pretty good hot take, to be honest with you. Alabama is starting a brand new quarterback in Jalen Monroe. I believe he's a high 4-star, high 5-star guy. They're starting him this year. And then they're also starting a true freshman at left tackle in Caden Proctor. Now, check it. I believe he was the #1 offensive tackle in the country last year. And is
that the boy from Iowa?
Yeah, the kid from Iowa. They had him ranked as one of the top 2-3 tackles in the country, depending on who you ask. But that's a tall task, to play, left tackle in the SEC. But Alabama has done that before. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. No, we was actually in the chat. I don't think that's such a big upset because, Texas got a good line, good quarterback, a lot of people coming back, and Alabama got some questions that need answered. So I got Texas winning the Big 12 as well.
Yeah, Proctor was the #5 prospect, nationally #1 offensive tackle, and by 247 Sports. Tony.
I'm pretty much gonna make it unanimous. No, I definitely think Texas is gonna win the Big 12. I don't think Oklahoma is ready yet. As far as the whole beating Alabama, I don't know, man. Like I mean, it's definitely a fair hot take. I definitely can see it happening, but I'm definitely not ready to go there and say book it. They definitely had a chance to win and should have won last year. I don't know if they're gonna be able to sneak up on Alabama and Nick Saban again like that this year.
But I'm gonna say this: week 2.
I like Bama, and I'm gonna go ahead and book it. I'm gonna book it. Texas is gonna beat Alabama, but that's gonna be Alabama's only loss. But they won't make the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, if they lose like that early this year, man, they could still they could still get back to the 4. Who are you saying? Bama's not gonna make the 4 or Texas?
Bama's not gonna make the 4.
If they lose to Texas and they win out and LSU beat what they supposed to be, they'll be back on 4.
If Alabama just lose to Texas, and if you're saying that's their only loss, Alabama get in the playoffs. But that means they would have beat LSU and Georgia.
I just got a funny feeling because I don't know. I think the way Rashad saying starting with a true starting a brand new quarterback. You got new receivers, freshman left tackle. Your defense got to be rebuilt pretty much. He reloads, but they're still young. I can see 1 loss, maybe 2. I know they'll lose to Texas. I agree with you on that one. I can see them losing to Texas.
So let me add this now, and I'm just keeping it 100. Same way I said I got question marks about Georgia, really Carson Beck, not even Georgia. I'll say this: I got the same question marks, more question marks about Jalen Monroe because I think I said on this a couple of months ago, Alabama was actually trying to court Tyler Van Dyke from Miami. So if you're trying to get somebody's quarterback, then that tells me that you're not 100% confident in your own quarterback, right? And but Alabama's defense is solid. Like that kid out of Fort Lauderdale, Dallas Turner, he's a top 10 pick. You know, they secondary is
yeah, they probably got one of the best top corner in football. Kool-Aid, I think McKinstry, I think that's his name.
McKinstry. You know, they still got the kid, another kid from Broward County, Battle. So they and their front seven is going to be fine. If Jalen Monroe can mature or play, you know, above his expectations, then Alabama will be fine. But I don't see that. I got questions at quarterback the same way I got questions for Georgia quarterback. If he plays well, they'll be well. But you know, it's question marks. So they'll get answered week 2. That's for sure.
I will say this, Fade. I will say this right here. If Texas if Texas goes in to that Alabama game and get blown out, I ain't say lose by 3 or touchdown, but they get beat by 30 or 40 points by Alabama. Number one, they say a lot about Alabama, of course. But Texas, you just ain't gonna never get it right. Like for Texas, this is the year for you to try to make some noise before you join the SEC. That's it. Because once you join the SEC, you got to see Alabama, you got to see Texas A&M again, your Georgia. It's going to be a little tougher than what you're dealing with now. If Texas ever going to make a run, this the year. This is it.
Coming on set now, there's Damon Randall, host of Chopping It Up with Damon Randall, where you can find all your podcasts anywhere from Apple to Google to Spotify. Damon, what's going on?
Fellas, what's going on, gentlemen? Y'all all right?
B-Ran, what's happening with you, my guy?
Ain't nothing to it, brother. How you feel?
All right, can't complain.
I hear you, bro.
We talk about the Big 12, Damon. What do you see? What's your prediction for the Big 12 this year?
Man, who in the Big 12?
Is it even 12?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Might be 13.
They got like 14 now.
Okay, so who all coming? Is anybody coming in this year? Is Cincinnati?
BYU, Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF in the Big 12 now.
Okay, so what's the name won it last year?
TCU.
No, TCU didn't win it last year. Come to think of it, I don't think.
Kansas State then. It was
Kansas State beat them, I think.
They won. They go into conference championship.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
TCU lost quite a few people,
including the quarterback.
The next best answer would be no. Can't say no. Can't say Kansas State.
Just say Oklahoma State.
Quite honest, I honestly don't know because the Big 12 had a little run where it was quite a few ranked teams in the, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it the Big 12 that had like 5 or 6 ranked last year?
Yeah, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. I think Baylor was ranked. Texas was ranked.
If I go with anybody, it'll probably be between Oklahoma State and Texas. If Quinn Ewers come to play and he the ultimate gunslinger, but I mean, it's tough for me to say.
Mike I want to get your opinion on this, Damon. Mike had a hot take. If Texas beats Alabama, Texas is winning the Big 12 and going to the Final Four.
I might agree with him on that. I don't know. I might. But then, if you're going to catch Alabama, you got to catch them now. Because
catch them early.
Yeah, you got to catch them early. Everything to me depends on Quinn Ewers and if they're going to snatch him off for Manning. It depends. Like, they're going to be on his head.
Head.
They're gonna be on that young man's head because they're gonna want to see Arch come in. So it really depends on what Quinn Ewers do. To be honest, I think it depends on what he do.
I heard it, but I couldn't get on TV to comment. But I heard you, Mike. Woo!
I really hate my friends, man.
I can't run it back to the screen. Like, damn it.
Boy, I hate my friends. I hate all of them. Goodness gracious, boy.
I don't know. Mike, you might be right though, but I think it depends on the quarterback playing Texas. Because I'm telling you, one false move, they're gonna try to put Arch in there quick.
Yeah, they got 3 good. I'm looking at the Texas roster now.
That's a really good receiver.
They got Worthy. They got a kid named Jordan Whitterton. They got A.D. Mitchell there now. Yeah, they got a lot of starters back.
They do.
Week 2 is going to say a lot. Quinn Ewers will either be a top 5 draft pick after week 2, or he'll be the backup to Arch Manning.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me ask you guys this. If Steve Sarkisian goes 6-5, what is the temperature on his seat at the end of the season?
Flaming.
Lava.
Steve Sarkisian gonna be in trouble, boy.
It's on fire. Ohio players fire.
That's some heat right there. That's the mother of dragons fire. That's the mother of dragons heat that he gonna be dealing with.
If he gets fired, all of the running backs in the NFL are gonna be mad. Now you may say, "Shot, what the hell that got to do with the running backs in the NFL?" Because Arch Manning NIL deal gonna be more than the running backs in the NFL.
Yeah.
When he transferred.
Yep, that is true.
I got a question.
I think Steve Sarkisian, he was under Saban. This is another one of the Saban proteges or whatever, and he got a lot returning, man. So, like I said earlier, Texas going to the SEC next year. If they gonna do something, it's got to be this year. You got to always watch that Red River shootout. Always watch it. Now they embarrassed Oklahoma last year. I don't see Brent Venables, being as bad as they were last year. But at the same time, that Red River shootout, you got to always watch it.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Shot brought up a really good point. If Sarkisian get fired and Arch decides to transfer, where do you think he would go?
Well, how the hell we gonna answer that now? I'm
saying what? I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's an opinion. If you think if he get fired, because who was in his top 5? Do y'all remember?
After this point, once you get to school, it don't even matter who your top 5 is. It's gonna be what the first thing open. Because these kids now, what they do, they look at who's coming there, and they look at who already at the school. So that's a question. I mean, you can't. I mean, you don't know. You can't answer that to like December, January, because you can't. You don't know what school he will go to now. The way these kids think, you don't. Because so let's just use for an example. Let's say Arch Manning top 5, which I think is about right. I think it was Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss. I want to say USC and maybe Clemson. Them schools right there, he ain't gonna go to Georgia because Dylan Raiola on the way. Some of them schools they're not gonna go to according to what the quarterback situation is. So that question right there, you gotta wait till like the season over with to see. And then again, the tight family that he's got, he may just stay and stick it out.
I hear you. I mean,
I don't know why you would in any way, shape, or form think that Arch Manning would not go to Georgia because of Dylan Raiola.
That's what I'm going to say. I don't think Dylan Raiola really makes a difference when you look at if Kirby think that he got a better chance with Arch than he do Dylan, he's gonna take that transfer.
I don't know. I don't know about that one.
I think he'll go. I don't know. It's just Char brought up a really good point. I thought that was legit. I would wonder where he would transfer. I think Georgia probably would be number 1 on his map because he can keep that winning tradition alive.
before we get to the SEC, let me get a quick take in there because I think the Pac-5 is probably the most sympathetic conference in the nation because they lose damn near the whole conference. Is this USC's year to get to the Final Four before they go to the Big Ten, Michael?
Let me just say this about the Pac-12. The Pac-12, as far as conferences with quarterbacks, may have the best conference right out there with quarterbacks right now. Caleb Williams, you got Bo Nix, Michael Penix. They if you think you're a good quarterback, the DJ Uiagalelei transferred to Oregon State. They deep with quarterbacks. If USC gonna make a run, Pac-12, man, it's always a coin toss, man. It's gonna come down to USC, Washington, and Oregon, I think. So I don't know.
Don't forget Utah because Utah.
Oh yeah, Utah. They Cameron Rising, he back. The quarterbacks in the Pac-12, man, it's deep. They deep, and they gonna go out and watch what I tell y'all. Pac-12 gonna go out with a bang this year.
I think it's gonna be whoever got the better defense. You name some very good quarterbacks. I think it's gonna fall down to who got the better defense out of those top four you just named.
If that's the case, that means whoever gonna get the last stop in the game because ain't none of them gonna have no great defense.
Usually Utah has a pretty decent defense, even though they lost a lot. You're right about USC. They don't stop anybody. Oregon, not really sure, and Washington, decent. You bring up a good point, but I mean, whoever plays a little bit of defense between those four probably will come out on top because they all those teams can score, and then, like you said, Mike, all of them have very good quarterbacks. So if I was a betting man, I would probably out of all of them with defensive prowess, Utah. But those quarterbacks are known for eating some defenses up if you give them time. So it's a toss-up between those four.
Tony, is this USC's conference to lose this year?
I guess on paper, but I like Oregon myself.
Last one for you, Shop. Same question.
Man, I mean, y'all can say whatever y'all want about me. I'm consistent. I rock with the best quarterback. All things being considered, I don't really know a whole lot about the teams in the Pac-12, right now before the season starts. But I know who the best quarterback in the country is. So until proven otherwise, he is guilty until proven innocent. I'm going with USC with the additions that they got. The kid Traquan Fagans from Alabama, Bear Alexander. I almost said Bear Bryant again. Bear Alexander from Georgia. I can't think of the receiver. Like they got some guys that they struck gold in the transfer portal if those guys live up to their hype. So I just don't see USC losing in the Pac-12.
I agree. Let's get to the baby NFL, which is the SEC. Georgia is the two-time reigning national champion. Right now, this season, it is the UGA Invitational, until otherwise said. We'll start with Horatio. We talked about Mr. Beck coming in as a starter. Do you see any hiccups from Georgia before the SEC championship game?
No, we talked about this in the pre-production meeting, i.e. fancy word for chat. And I remember saying, I thought Georgia would lose one because I thought LSU was better, but like he got 7 games to get better, right? So, even if he comes out struggling, he has enough games to get right before they get to LSU. So I think he'll right the ship by then. Florida's not good enough. Macon State not good enough. I can't think who else they play.
Tennessee.
Middle Georgia College not good enough. Tennessee, might be a problem, but yeah, all the teams that Georgia played, Little Georgia College, Albany State, Tennessee, Chattanooga,
South Carolina.
Yeah, Dr. Miles, All Stars, like they should be all right by the time they get to week 8.
He said Dr. Miles All Star.
For real.
The Perry Panthers. Don't forget the Perry Panthers.
Well, these boys tripping.
They tripping.
So, it's all on Beck's shoulders. Like we all know that. We talked about that, right? It's all on Beck.
David, do you see Georgia losing the game for the championship game?
I don't. Like I say, Ric Flair said best. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and I don't really see anybody. Woo! Everybody, is high on LSU, and I think LSU. Brian Kelly went down there and did some things like he always do wherever he go. I just think that Kirby Smart got a well-oiled machine rolling. I don't see a hiccup. At least I don't at this point right now. Even with an incoming quarterback, I just don't see it. Because remember, he got protection. He got the best tight end in the country as protection. You know what I'm saying? He throw it his way. 9 times out of 10, he coming down with that peel and gonna get yards after contact. So he got the protection. Kirby Smart is a defensive guy, so you know he's gonna keep the defense right. So I don't really see a hiccup, man.
When do they play LSU? Do they play LSU?
They don't play LSU.
They don't. That makes it.
They don't play LSU or Alabama.
Oh, that makes it okay. Well, I don't see a hiccup there. Unless I don't see it. I don't see it. I thought they played them this year. Oh.
The only hiccup, I'm gonna let the 2 resident Georgia fans get in. The only possible hiccup I can see, if South Carolina could possibly put them in a shootout, because South Carolina beat the shit out of Clemson last year, and Tennessee's defense comes through. But I don't see, like I said, I don't see them losing the game until the championship game. But those are the only 2 games that might be a hiccup. But I don't think they are. Tony, go ahead.
I mean, anything's possible, man. As being a Georgia fan, I'm definitely not gonna get on here and say that I expect them to lose a game. I expect them to win every game they play because I'm a Georgia fan. But anything's possible. I have to admit, I'm not gonna be biased. Schedule is definitely in our favor. But that's why you play. That's why you play the game. It can happen. So, we got to go out there ready to play every week. And I'm definitely interested about the Tennessee game. We play Ole Miss. It's in Georgia, but we play Ole Miss this year. It is the SEC, man. So I mean, it can happen.
Hey, how's Ole Miss squad what they looking like?
I mean, they lost their QB,
right?
But Lane Kiffin is Lane Kiffin, man.
True.
So I can't tell you exactly what they have, but I mean they are ranked, and it's Lane Kiffin.
I got you.
All right, finally, Cornholio.
When I first heard about Georgia's schedule, I said, just being boastful, Georgia gonna run through the schedule and go undefeated. But it's 3 games that stand out to me on this Georgia schedule that as a Georgia fan, we need to be concerned with. Week 5 at Auburn. Carson Beck hadn't been tested, y'all. Carson Beck has always come in the game when it was a blowout, and that's going to be Carson Beck's first true road game in Jordan Hare. And we know about the stuff that's going to happen in Jordan Hare with Georgia play Auburn. That game right there. Huh?
I'll keep going.
Oh, that game right there, week 5 at Auburn, put an asterisk by that game. When they play Ole Miss, put an asterisk by that game for the simple fact that's Lane Kiffin. And Ole Miss, as far as talent-wise, may be the equivalent of Tennessee or Texas A&M, some of them upper. I consider Ole Miss one of them upper echelon SEC teams. And, of course, the game in Tennessee. But that first game on the road, week 5 against Auburn, watch for that game. That's the first true road game for Georgia. That's the first true road game for Carson Beck. I mean, I want Georgia to run the table win another national championship. But there are going to be some games once you sit down and you break down that schedule. There's some games that I noticed that you need to be aware of. And those are the 3 that I came up with. At Auburn, Ole Miss, and at Tennessee.
They're playing in Knoxville. So, yeah, okay.
And they're playing in Knoxville, and they're playing at Auburn. That game is at Auburn, and that's the first road game for Carson Beck. Now, like I say, dude ain't been really tested. He ain't been tested yet. He going to get tested that day at Jordan Hare. 80,000, 90,000 screaming at him. We'll see what he made of.
I do agree with you on that. Auburn, they usually play Georgia every now and
then. And it's a lot of crazy stuff happening in Jordan Hare, man. There's a lot of crazy stuff when you go on the road. Last year when Georgia went on the road and played Missouri, they almost lost to Missouri. It was a Saturday night game. They almost lost that game. So going on the road, playing in Jordan Hare, just watch it.
There's always, especially in college, a lot of those true road games, man, they are dangerous for a quarterback who has not been tested. It's a dangerous situation to put them boys in. I remember what was it? I can't think of the quarterback well, but when Michigan went to Iowa about 6 or 7 years ago, and they had a really good team, and Iowa messed around and beat them boys 14-7. And they came back saying that Kinnick Stadium was rocking. And those road games, new quarterback that hasn't had that experience, it is different. It's a different thing. College, especially to me in college football, because they got a 12-man everywhere you go.
You get what I'm saying about them games, Tony? Them 3 games I mentioned?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I mentioned Ole Miss and I mentioned Tennessee. I'm not too much worried about Auburn, but I mean, it can happen. And we're not ready, especially being in, Auburn and Jordan Hare. No, it's possible.
Let's go to the Western Division of the conference. LSU and Alabama. I believe LSU goes to Alabama this year, correct? On the first weekend in November, Mike?
Yeah. LSU go to Alabama this year.
And Alabama goes to Auburn.
Yeah.
So this LSU's division to lose again this year? Damon?
I will stick with Roll Tide, bro. I like I said, I know graduation and other things hit Alabama. We still talking about Nick Saban, and we still talking about 5 stars coming in, sitting, waiting to play at Alabama. I really can't knock Alabama at this point. Now, like I said, with Brian Kelly, I know him from experience when he was coaching Division II here in Michigan, Grand Valley State. Wherever he go, he win. Wherever he go, he win. He hasn't won the big one in Division I yet, but won 3 in Division II. So he know how to put things together, to put a winning squad together. At this point, though, if you look at the resume and you look at the talent that Alabama keeps coming in, it's difficult for me to say that it's LSU's to lose. I still think at this point, Bama is still the favorite in the Western Division.
And that's what this book is saying. This college football book I got is this what they asked an opposing assistant coach in the SEC. They didn't give his name, but this is what he said. He said, "So who's the quarterback?" By Alabama standards, right now, they're not as talented compared to previous teams, but they're Alabama. So they're going to have a guy that you forgot about from recruiting who breaks out, and then some other 5-star who finally got to the top of the depth chart. Now, I'm looking at Alabama roster right now, and They got a guy right here. I'm just looking at their offensive line. I think James Brockenmeyer, he was originally he won at Texas. His daddy played at Texas. He was a 5-star offensive lineman. Terrence Ferguson, that's the kid from Peach County. Terrence Ferguson from Fort Valley. He was a 5-star offensive lineman. Like, they still loaded, man. And I guess because me and Rachel be talking recruiting, but they still loaded. They got Corey Brooks and Jermaine Burton at receiver. Isaiah Bunn. They loaded still. They still got,
Corey Brooks transferring.
Big time name.
Are you
secondary?
Who you said transferring shot?
Corey Brooks is transferring.
Oh,
he's transferring.
Yeah, he at the bottom of the depth chart.
I still think talent is just amazing, and to me, I just don't. I can't really go against Alabama at this point.
I mean, I'm not. Again, Alabama doesn't have. Who was that? FaZe Alter Ego logging in again. Alabama doesn't have the luxury to work Jalen Monroe into the system and get him acclimated like Georgia does with Carson Beck. They got Texas week 2.
Right.
They got a true freshman playing left tackle. Now, again, normally you would say that's not a good sign if Alabama has a true freshman playing left tackle. But all of the other true freshmen that have played left tackle for Alabama have been first-round draft picks.
Right.
But you have to ask yourself, if Evan Neal didn't come in playing left tackle, then what's going on at Alabama where you got a true freshman coming in? Then there was, who was the guy? Alex Leatherwood came in a couple of years ago. He was the #1 tackle in the country. It took him a year before they moved him over to left tackle. He started out playing guard, then he moved out to tackle. A lot of these guys, they start out at right guard, then right tackle, then left tackle. This dude going left tackle day 1. So he in line for that 6-star Atwater if he 3 and out.
Yeah, he 3 and out, yeah. What you think about Texas A&M, Faye? Texas A&M, Florida, Tennessee.
You muted, Faye.
My bad. Jimbo Fisher plus Bobby Petrino equals double fired. Y'all talking? Y'all say
hold on, man, because I've been watching this debate. What you just said?
I said Jimbo Fisher plus Bobby Petrino equals double fire.
Those two very good, especially Petrino, offensive minds. I would love to see what Petrino would do with that offense.
Look at his face.
He dead ass serious too, Tony.
He dead ass serious too, man. Look at his face. Like I'm talking about what I said. He keep looking at me like, what you gotta say? What you gotta say? What you gotta say?
No, that Texas A&M. This is Jimbo's last year. I think regardless of what happened,
it won't be because of Bobby Petrino though, bro.
They're gonna be because of Jimbo Fisher. That's why. Florida just called me back in 2 years. Tennessee, they lost a lot on offense. We lost both wide receivers and a quarterback. That's just too much to overcome in one season.
Hey, the way they talking though, Fade, that guy, the Joe Melton guy.
Yeah, they've been.
They say he was better than Henry Hooker though.
I don't know about all that, but
he's the one that played last year.
He got a strong arm. He transferred from up here. He got a missile for an arm, but the thing is, I don't know if he'll be able to run that offense like Hooker because Hooker had an arm, but he had touch. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We'll see. But they've been real high on him. They've been real high on Joe Milton.
Who?
Tennessee. The writers in Tennessee.
What's the dude who came in last year and for Hooker when he got hurt and it was lighting it up?
The freshman.
Joe Milton. That's him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was fish.
We're just going to see on that one, but Florida, no. Tennessee, maybe. Texas A&M, that's a dumpster fire.
we gonna see what Tennessee is about when Georgia come to town.
We're gonna see what Tennessee about way before that. Cause they got to go to Alabama this year.
Oh, they got to go to Alabama. Okay.
That's gonna be a treat. We got 2 more topics. We got about 15 minutes before we gotta get to our parting shots. Of course, college football you used to have a lot of independent teams. You go back to Florida State, Penn State, Army, I believe. Pull them up. Connecticut, Notre Dame, of course, and University UMass. Those teams are independent schools for football. Now you only have 4 independent teams right now. Army, Notre Dame, UConn, and UMass are the only 4 independent teams in the country. Now, if you look at the non-Power 5 schools like Mountain West with Boise State, you look at Conference USA or the AAC, Big East. Do you see it? This might question. Do you see any one of those scenarios where those teams can break through in the CFP this year?
Nah.
Now you know today, Margaret Freeman getting the second year.
Notre Dame got a tough schedule, boy. Notre Dame got to play Ohio State and USC.
They got to go to both places too, don't they? Didn't they play Ohio State at home last year?
No, they played Ohio State at Ohio State last year.
Oh, okay. So,
and they played Notre Dame at Notre Dame last year.
Notre Dame because of their schedule. If they play well, don't lose a game, which I can't really see. Yeah, they'll make an argument.
Notre Dame done been to the college football playoff twice, right?
Yeah, got the brakes beat off them.
Yeah, both times with Brian Kelly, if I'm not mistaken.
They played Clemson also. Don't forget.
Yes, though, wasn't it?
No, they lost in the championship game to Alabama in 2013, and they made the CFP one other time. I think they got beat by.
Yes, because that was what was the linebacker name? Teo.
Manti Te'o, yeah.
Yeah. That was
I got a better question for you. What was his girlfriend name?
That's the question of the decade.
Blank.
TBD.
To be determined. God. I mean, man, to be honest about them group of 5 schools, even when they expand to the college football playoffs with 12 teams next year, man, they just ain't going. I don't never see a group of 5 team making a run in the college football playoff. They just don't have the horses, man. They don't. And there's a lot of schools that are moving up from the FCS level going into these group of 5 conferences. I just don't see it. Like, you don't had the Boise States in the past. Cincinnati made it a couple of years ago. But at the end of the day,
Mike,
when it's time to get to the, to get the top 4, even next year, like I said.
Mike, did you freeze up?
I ain't know I did. I just don't see. That's all I'm saying. I just don't see no group of 5 even making a run. This ain't like college basketball. College basketball is a little bit more parity than it is in college football. If you ain't one of them power program, them elite program, you ain't got a shot, man.
Jamon Sims said the girlfriend's name was Kat Sishi. I guess that's how you would say it. We'll go with that. We'll roll with that. Shot, you see any of the non-Power 5 schools breaking through in the CFP?
Come back to me.
All right, Tony, do you see any of the same question? You see anybody for the non-Power 5 schools breaking through?
Hell no.
Okay. Damon?
No, not really. I say the only one who got a snowball's chance in hell would probably be Notre Dame.
No. Back to you, Shot. Same question.
Yeah, just Notre Dame. I mean, obviously, Notre Dame has a damn good shot. If you beat Ohio State and USC, don't they play Michigan as well?
No, they don't play for another 2 years.
Okay. You beat Ohio State, and you beat USC, then you got a good case. And you're Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So, they play Clemson this year, though. Don't forget they play Clemson this year also.
And Clemson?
And Clemson.
I mean, it probably won't happen, but if you beat them 3 teams, I can guarantee you Notre Dame in the top 4.
Yeah, that's a tough schedule, man.
Yeah.
That's a tough schedule.
All right, let's get to our last topic. Mike's preseason NFL rankings. Is your list fluid, Mike? Fluid. Michael.
Hello, Mike. Man, look like he dead. He all right?
Yeah, he gone.
He gone.
Damn, he was a good guy. No, for real.
Oh, yeah, he was a good guy.
So what I had, man, NFL preseason top 10. I know a lot of people will start the season.
Hey, boy, you did not take on us, bro. You were froze. Then all of a sudden, you just start talking.
Like Jesus came back.
I thought you was that dude in Get Out.
Oh, change up.
In the second place.
So I got the Eagles number 1. I think the Eagles the best team in the NFL. I got Chiefs second, Bengals third, 49ers number 4, Buffalo 5, Dallas Cowboys 6. I like the Jaguars at 7, Ravens at 8, Chargers at 9, Dolphins at 10. That's my preseason top 10 NFL team.
I will flip your number 2 and number 1 just because the Chiefs are the defending champs. I will flip them just because of that sole reason. I understand why you put Philly first, but
I don't.
I put the Chiefs first because they're the defending champs.
Without Chris Jones, and he might hold out to week 8, it's a good possibility the Chiefs might start 4-4 or 3-5.
I get it, but I'm saying at the end of the day, they're the defending champs. That's how I look at it. I get what you're saying. I hear you.
Now, Jacksonville being ahead of Baltimore and the Chargers, I get the Chargers.
Then they start out like 4-4 2 years ago.
Facts.
Yeah, they did.
And I think pretty much everybody on this podcast, including myself, was talking about KC. Was matter of fact, I think they was on 500. I think they started out like 3 and 5 or something like that. 3 and 4.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, I always put the defending champs number 1, no matter what, until they're dethroned. That's how I look at it.
Unless they're the Giants in 1990 when they beat the Bills and Parcells left.
Say that again, D-Ran, so Shot can hear you in back.
What'd he say?
You know he threw a jab at you, Shot.
What was the jab, though?
To beat a man, you gotta beat the man. You know what he talking about.
Right. But how come his homeboy ain't go by that same motto? Because his homeboy don't want to put the defending champs at number 1. He got the Eagles. I'm just saying.
That's fair. That's a fair argument.
This ain't bigger than Dino Brown.
But number two is a whole lot different than dropping somebody down to like 5 and 6, though, bro.
Yeah, but 1 and 2 got.
Appreciate it, Tony. Cause you taking shots at me, cuz. Appreciate it, Tony. Good looking out.
1 and 2 got their same quarterback. This man got 1 losing to 2 without even playing the game. Make it make sense.
To beat the man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah, you definitely got to. That's until you're dethroned, bro. They the champs.
Right. Fave just questioned KC because they lost Chris Jones, and he don't even play quarterback.
Yeah,
but you're right. You're right. When I saw that schedule, like, hey, once I saw them playing Macon State, I said, man, Carson Becker be fine by then.
Mike, give us your 3 and 4 again.
I had the Bengals 3, 49ers 4.
I don't really have no issue with that.
No, 5.
Buffalo.
6.
America's team.
They should be lower. 7.
No, stop. No. You ain't gonna just keep going to that next number.
There's a jab.
No.
That's uppercut. That one no jab.
No.
They should be
Explain that one.
Lower than 6.
Hey Tony, I'm gonna let you handle this one.
Who?
You got this, Tony.
He said Dallas should be lower than 6.
Who else? Who should be 6 in front of Dallas?
Anybody else?
Who?
He talking
Who's
about
anybody else?
He just hating, Tony.
I just want to get y'all riled
up.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting here waiting too, boy. Like, who? Say it. Say what you say.
I ain't gonna lie. I was sitting up over here like I'm saying to myself, let me think of one. I ain't got none. I ain't gonna even lie. I ain't no Dallas fan, but I got the Eagles and I'm stuck after that. Now, if y'all know of somebody, let me know.
Baltimore.
I don't see nobody.
Well, I was thinking about the NFC first before we even get over there.
I don't have no issue with that.
San Francisco should be above them. San Francisco.
He named San Francisco in front of them.
No, I didn't.
I'm saying I wanted it.
Yeah, he got
the Eagles. I got the Eagles and the 49ers over the Cowboys as far as being the best teams in the NFC.
Yeah, I think 6 is
that's legit. Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah, that's legit.
I'll just mess with
think about it. What other team in the NFC besides the 3 you just named who can overtake Dallas right now in the NFC? I don't really see anybody in the NFC that can overtake Dallas. Right now.
The next best team probably to Dallas, and it's gonna probably be crazy to say, it's probably the Detroit Lions or the Vikings.
I don't know about the Vikings. They lost their running back. I don't know about the Vikings.
Dalvin Cook. They cut Dalvin Cook.
And they cut Dalvin because they feel like Madison is a good enough replacement. And I'm not saying he's Dalvin Cook, but he'll do.
Yeah, he will do.
They got TJ Hawkinson over there.
Yeah.
They got JJ. And he is dynamite.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I want, as far as Minnesota, Detroit, maybe Detroit. What other team in the NFC?
That's it.
You can't say the Seahawks. You can't. I guess Dallas. That's the right choice. That's the right choice.
Actually, you can say the Seahawks. The Seahawks has a nice little squad. Now, again, I'm not saying they can beat Dallas. I mean, they wouldn't be favored, but when you think about the receivers they got, the running back they got, the defense isn't as stout as it used to be, but they got weapons. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker. They got a new and improved Geno Smith. They got weapons.
Don't forget Jackson Smith and Jigba also.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, Detroit.
It's going to be interesting. The one thing that everybody's nervous about with San Francisco is the quarterback.
Yeah. Sam Darnold was named.
That defense is amazing, though. That defense is stellar. And if the defense can carry them like they did last year, they just need quarterback play. We talking about San Francisco maybe going to the Super Bowl.
So you have San Francisco a little bit lower because you got question marks at quarterback. Is that what you're saying?
No, I like them where they at. I like them at Water Hatter at 4 behind Cincy. I like them where they at. All I'm saying is that the quarterback, because they were decimated last year, they're gonna need a healthy number 1, a healthy number 2, a healthy number 3. You know what I'm saying? It was rough on them last year. I believe Christian McCaffrey took snaps at quarterback last year.
You said they got Sam Darnold as the backup, so Trey Lance, well, he
is out of there. He's gone.
I think he's gone, but they still trying to give him a chance. When he broke those 2 spots in his leg, I'm like, oh well, that might do it for him.
Well, they got Sam Darnold at quarterback. Trey Lance's career in the NFL is over.
Yeah, because he
can't beat out Sam Darnold. You got issues.
Yeah, they took a chance on that that he came from North Dakota State. They took a chance on him.
So I'm gonna go around the room real quick. Damon, give me your realistic goals with them Detroit Lions.
Realistic, I want to see them make the play or win a division and make get a home playoff game realistically. Because I mean, I like what they did so far. I mean, some people can question some of the draft picks, but as far as bolstering up the secondary, bolstering up the linebacker room, adding some more weapons if they can stay healthy. Realistically, I would love to see them take the division for the first time in years and get a home playoff game.
Hey, shout out to my man Corey Green. I ain't see him on here in the chat, but he on here. Shout out to C Green. Shout out to Jamon. Jamon, we deep in thought right now, but we on the next segment, we're gonna have to talk about this profile pick. Man, who can coach a playoff championship basketball game in that suit that he had on? Man, he looked like he was ready for he looked like a runway model trying to coach a championship game. Man, I hope y'all won. I hope y'all ain't winning. They ain't have to put no champagne on that suit. That boy look good.
Shot, I got your boys coming in at 10, the Dolphins. What's your take on the Dolphins this year?
Man, I'm a Dolphin fan because I'm down here in the 305, but me and Chris Grill, we got some internal issues that we dealing with. Him and my brother Damon and my cousin Keenum. Shout out to them boys. But Jamon coach, championship coach put it in the chat. If Tua can stay healthy, he looks a lot better. This is year 5. He still got the same weapons. I think the Dolphins can actually make some noise. I don't think the Dolphins are the LA Rams of two years ago. That's what the Dolphins are. They put all their cards on the table and they said, run it. If they can just stay at 500 until Jalen Ramsey come back, I think they're gonna actually make some noise.
Yeah, he don't come back to December at the earliest.
Right.
Yeah.
What happened to Jalen Ramsey? I ain't heard about this.
Knee injury. I think it was a knee injury.
Oh. Well, the AFC is tough, man. And I think the AFC is tough because you got, if you look at the top 10, I just said, I think I got 7 teams of the AFC in there. And all of them got great quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Tua in that category. We ain't even mentioned New York Jets or Aaron Rodgers. We ain't even said them. Ain't mentioned them at all. We ain't said nothing about Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. So I mean, man, it's the AFC resembles like the Western Conference in the NBA. It's loaded.
Hey, real talk. What top quarterbacks are in the NFC?
Jalen Hurts.
Okay, true. Who else?
And the Hair Bear Bunch.
Who?
And the Get Along Gang.
Dak Prescott, who threw 15 interceptions last year on 12 games.
Hey, Fade, that's twice, man. Enough, Fade.
So realistically, you got out of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, 9 are in the AFC.
Yes.
And we can easily say out of the top 12, 13 quarterbacks, 12 are in the AFC.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
I mean, real talk, besides Jalen Hurts, what other quarterback in the NFC really puts fear in your heart?
Man,
Tom Brady.
The NFL, man, the good old boy network, they love Daniel Jones. God, they want this kid to succeed so bad.
I just don't see it, though, Shot. I don't see it.
They want him to succeed so bad. Look at all the fantasy rankings. They want. Speaking of that, yo, Fade, what's happening? Tony, you ain't trying to defend the crown? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm ready to go and get the draft going. I mean, sure.
I guess if you look at the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFC, after Jalen Hurts, would it be Kirk Cousins, then Dak?
Yes.
Probably.
Or Geno.
Or Geno.
Oh, yeah, Geno.
Don't forget, Jared Goff had a great second half of the season. No turnovers in the last 8 games.
Damn sure did.
Yeah. So I mean, in all honesty, we just named those quarterbacks. Only one puts fear in your heart.
That Jalen Hurts.
Right. Only one scares you when you gotta do your defensive analysis and everything, preparing for this dude. Only one. Now,
Tom Brady. Don't forget Tom Brady.
If you brought up a good one, if Jared Goff keeps it up and he don't have them turnovers like he did last 8 games, he threw what? 15, 16 touchdowns, no picks.
No picks, no fumbles.
No fumbles. He was turnover free. If he able to keep that up, Detroit could make some noise. I just don't see, me being at the crib, I don't see them, if they make it, going no further.
Now remember, Detroit probably had one of the top 5 offensive lines in the league, and in pass block, run block win ratio, they're in the top 10. Oh, stats.
That's true. It's still. We still have some question marks right now. On paper, they improved, but we haven't seen it on the field on the defensive side. You see what I'm saying? They got a rookie that may start at linebacker, although they praising him pretty well as him being instinctive. But I mean, at the end of the day, going back to the quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts is the only one that really puts fear in your heart as of now that's in the NFC. Everybody else, and that's what makes it good for him, because all the other quarterbacks beat each other up.
All right.
Yeah.
By the way, Miami is in the top 10 as far as Super Bowl odds. I think they plus, I forget, something like that. They're in the top 10.
Y'all got any faith in Jacksonville?
Need one more year. They need one more year.
What do you consider faith?
Faith that it upsetting any one of them top 3: Cincinnati, Kansas City, Buffalo. Are they in that category yet? They adding Calvin Ridley this year too now.
I mean, any given Sunday, it's possible.
I mean, upsetting them as far as, I mean, I don't have the schedule in front of me, but like, can they beat them in a regular season game? Yes. Do I think they'll end up in the top 2 or 3? Like, as far as like an AFC championship game? No.
They might be a year away.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're a year away.
Hell yeah, they could upset somebody. They upset San Diego. I'm sorry, Los Angeles. After being down, was it 28-0, 21-0?
28-0.
Okay, so you got a young quarterback, young running back, young team who's done it before. So to me, if you're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars in a playoff game and it's close, then you should be worried because they've been there before.
You think they'll beat Cincinnati in the playoff?
No. I didn't say if I had to put my money up. No, what I'm saying is if it's close, then yes, I think they can legitimately upset anybody because they've already been down and still kept fighting.
I get that, man, but you're tap dancing. That's not what he is. That's not what we is. I'm saying for real.
And I thought you was doing something else, Tony.
Huh?
I thought you was doing something else. You was all.
I am. I'm watching the debate, man. Y'all boys should be watching it too. I'm multitasking though. I'm multitasking.
Coming back to that.
I'm multitasking.
Jaguars are playing.
If I had to put my money on it, no, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I'm saying.
Jaguars are playing the NFC West and the AFC North as the two common divisions they're playing. And they got Kansas City and San Francisco on there. They're playing the NFC South and the AFC North, along with San Francisco and Kansas City on their schedule. Let's get to our part, and the Carolina Panthers are the extra flex game also that they added in for that 17 game. All right, guys, let's get to our part.
By the way, them two great rookie college quarterbacks that are now rookie quarterbacks, they are horrible.
Oh yeah, they got no weapons. They got nobody. They got nothing
wrong.
wrong.
Curve gonna be steep for both of them.
They horrible off the preseason. How are you gonna call them horrible already?
Well, when I say horrible, like they're playing, they got a ways to go. I mean, as great as they were in college, they have a ways to go. But it's gonna be fun watching them. They're gonna get there, but man, you know that curve is tough.
That's true.
Like turning right on an 18-wheeler on Gray Highway in East Macon. That's gonna be a hard transition. All right, party shot, Damon. Lead us off.
Today would have been one Kobe Bean Bryant's 45th birthday. It was a joy to watch this kid turn into one of the all-time greats playing basketball. I'm wondering if Charlotte kicking themselves in the mouth because of that trade, but died in a helicopter crash, doing what he loved, taking his daughter to her AAU stuff. Black Mamba was just that on the court. Black Mamba, Oscar-winning person. I just enjoyed watching this dude play ball because I was old enough to see Mike play, and he was a clone of Michael Jordan. So continue to get your rest, Kobe. You are really, really missed, and no one can argue you one of the all-time greats.
Number 2 all time, man. Number 2 all time.
You said continue to get your rest. You might wake up.
No, just something I want to say.
I was just messing.
Hey, Ratio, he rubbing the mustache. I told you. He gonna rub the mustache. I told you, Ratio. He rubbed the mustache, dog.
He said continue to get your rest.
No, I'm laughing at that. He said just something I want to say. I'm saying for real, like, shut the fuck up. I'm saying for real is what I want to say.
Hey, he the political guy. He knows it's a free country.
Oh, yeah,
hey, no doubt,
Hey,
B. I ain't mad at you, bro.
Honestly, it's Bean Bryant's birthday today.
Yeah.
Oh, so you and Faye's birthday the same day, Faye?
Nah, mine was yesterday.
Oh, yours was yesterday. Why did they say your birthday was today?
My brother, him and my brother share a birthday. My brother.
Well, happy birthday, Bean Faye.
Way to screw that one up, Ratio. Forgetting his birthday. That's pretty good.
I go by Facebook. That mean he lied to Facebook. That ain't my fault.
I lied to Facebook.
He talking about I go by Facebook.
It was Faye's birthday today.
He talking about he lied to Facebook.
24
Anyway,
posts on my page.
congratulations. How many trips that is around the sun?
46.
Amen.
What is this?
Hey, Fabe, I still got that offer. You want to eat that birthday cake with your shirt off? You still want to?
I think you want to do that.
You don't.
I already responded to that. I responded to that when they
you responded to that.
You go high. When you go low,
you go high. They go low. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, man.
And the lower you go, the lower your stomach will hang.
The lower the stomach goes.
Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
Oh, it's on me?
Yeah, it's on you, dog.
Tony looked up like they.
Your name,
man, real short and sweet. I just want to send a shout out to Carl Richardson. And give a shout out to Tiny Head. Actually, I actually happened to be back on Facebook, and I was on there for a second looking for something, and saw Tiny Head post, saying that the finals was getting ready to come on USA in a couple of minutes. So I went ahead and checked it out because I didn't even know that it was going on. And I'm glad I did. I caught the men's 200-meter hurdle, and I caught the women's final. And definitely want to give a shout out to Shakara Richardson, man, for bouncing back. She definitely had a tough, couple of years. Didn't get a chance to participate in the Olympics because of the failed drug test. And then when she came back, I think like the world that next year she didn't qualify. So she definitely got back on her grind and did her thing, man, and won the other day. So definitely shout out to her, man, for persevering through and doing what she had to do to live up to the potential that everybody knew she had.
Yeah, the 2 years tough ever since her mom died. That's been tough.
She a dog, bro. She is a dog.
Shout out to the camaraderie that that the ladies exhibited with each other.
That was dope.
Taking sprinters.
That was dope.
You know, shout out to the camaraderie for them. You know, just goes to show you sometimes as fans, you know, our rivalry runs deep, but the competitors, you know, to see that mutual respect for her, you know, from these ladies, you know, yeah, they lost that one, but the respect that they have for her, that to me, that was the best thing about the whole thing. And shout out to Tiny Head, because you know, a lot of people, like Tony said, wrote her off. And you know, him and you know, very, very few other people stayed 10 toes down. So, you know, all the people that's praising her right now, I don't know them people. I do know there's a few people that stuck with it, and my guy, my brother Tiny Head was one of them.
All right, Michael, what you have for us today?
There are 3 really good football documentaries that are out. And if you hadn't seen them, you need to go check them out. Go to Netflix and check out Johnny Football. It's the story on Johnny Manziel. Man, it's really, really good. Also, the documentary, I think, is on Netflix. I'm going to check it out. It's about the Florida Gators, the 2008 national championship team. That documentary is out. And today, the documentary on the Bishop Sycamore, the high school football team that they tried to act like they was a high school team a couple of years ago, and they played IMG and got embarrassed on TV. That documentary is out, I think, on HBO Max. So to get yourself ready for football season, go check out them 3 documentaries right there. And from what I hear, the Florida Gator documentary, there's no talk at all of Aaron Hernandez. I don't know how you're going to do a documentary without Aaron Hernandez, but there's no talk of him at all. So go check out them 3 documentaries on football right now.
Black Thought, brought to you by the Dark Looker.
Man, it's been a minute. So I was going to talk about the young diva, the young queen, Sha'Carri Richardson, but Tony handled that, you know, and brought her accomplishment to light, you know. So big up to Tony for that. So I'm gonna pivot. To some daily superheroes. You know, my man Damian Pickett. You know, big time superhero. I don't know if y'all know who Damian Pickett is, but he the one that called the arms, you know, the unity when the people in Montgomery, Alabama, decided that they wanted to jump on the co-captain, Mr. Damian Pickett, and he threw the Wakanda flag up, the hat up, and with a call to arms. I just want to speak on that because of the historical significance of that river dock, and I know we kind of talked about this before, but the historical significance of that riverfront over there in Montgomery, Alabama, where this brawl took place. So first of all, you know, this is Montgomery, Alabama. Edmund Pettus Bridge, the late great John Lewis. You know, that's where he made his name when they marched on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Alabama. That river dock at one point was the central hub for the slave trade in the 1800s. It was a central hub because of where it was located. Right 50 yards away from where this brawl took place was a warehouse where they stored African American men and women families and held them until the next week for auctions, where they were auctioned off and sold and then placed on riverboats to go upstream or downstream from that exact same riverfront. Montgomery, Alabama, for slave trading. And so to see some 400 years later, some 100 years later, 100 years later, to see, and again, I'm not perpetuating violence, you know, but to see where we've come and to see where some people still feel like, because there are reports that racial slurs were made during this incident. They're trying to figure out if they want to charge it, make it a hate crime, but the Montgomery Police Department is saying that it is not a hate crime. Sure looked like one to me. So I just want to point out the significance of where we are as a people, and the significance of us lifting each other up and fighting back. Again, I'm not perpetuating violence, but we fought back. 100 or some years ago, our ancestors were sold on that same riverfront. the people that fought on that riverfront could be direct descendants from both sides. From both sides. So I want to say finally, we as a people decided to come together, right, wrong, or indifferent. Fight for something. That's my black thought.
Now, as we know, ESPN has made some big changes over the last 60 days, in addition to Max and Keyshawn. But Mighty Jones has lost his job with the company. He also lost his show Game Theory, which is on Max. Very intelligent show, very good, has great guests, great spots. Just what's sustaining the streams on it. Stephen A. Smith has a runaway show for 12 years now with the #1 rated show with First Take. Now let's get to Skip Bayless. They always say imitation is the biggest form of flattery. You see a lot of NFL teams copy each other from the previous year to see if that works. Undisputed, what the hell are y'all doing? Putting Lil Wayne on every Wednesday like he Mad Dog Russo. Y'all bringing Richard Sherman, who got into a tussle with Skip Bayless twice on the air and roasted this man on live television. You brought Rachel Nichols, the covert racist, onto a show with the overt racist Skip Bayless. Now you're going to bring Michael Irvin on the air, sweating profusely, trying to hit on women at a hotel, which is why he de facto lost his job at the NFL Network. They still have not fired him yet. They still have not taken him off suspension either. But that's neither the point. Skip Bayless, fucked up a good thing with Shannon. Fucked up a whole lot of things. What the fuck are y'all doing in the FS1? But I still don't let ESPN off the hook. All these radio shows they got. Let me read you ESPN radio lineup going forward, starting on the day after Labor Day. You got Chris Canty, Evan Cohen, and Michelle Smallmont. Never heard of them. Chris Carlin and Joe Fortenbaugh. Who? Freddie and Harry. What? Amber and Ian. And then you got Game Night. You really try to get rid of ESPN Radio, all these names you put on there. You try to get rid of the whole radio station. What the heck are y'all doing, man? Because y'all have basically giving away all the confidence that your viewers have had on your show. Not to mention, we ain't got to Mark Jackson losing his job a couple weeks ago. We ain't got to that yet. You bring in Dot Rivers and Doris Burke. Doris Burke, I can see that. She's a great commentator. Dot Rivers, he was horrible when he was on the ESPN the first time. He was horrible. So ESPN and FS1, y'all need to get y'all shit together, man, because y'all finna lose our views to YouTube, man. That's just me.
ESPN cut a lot of people, man, because they got this big contract coming in next year with SEC. So they had to cut people to get that SEC conference pack, that TV deal.
And Pat McAfee also, don't forget Pat McAfee, 5 years, $85 million. Just makes no sense. And by the way, Keyshawn Johnson, I would not work for the next 3 years because ESPN got to pay you your whole contract unless you decide to go to work. Just sit tight. Don't go on for Undisputed. Get your check, King. Get your check. All right, that's our show. Remember, we're not going to be on Sundays until the football season crank back up in a couple of weeks. We are out. Holla.
Y'all boys be good.
All right, fellas.